What's up, guys? We are back. Figured we'd actually start this game within a reasonable amount of time. I don't know why, because what's going to end up happening is they're going to take forever with the draft, and then I'm going to have nothing to talk about, so there'll be extended periods of silence, but
Ugh, whatever. Just watch this actual game. It's sorry, it's just funny. Anyway, sorry, I'm just shitting on these people. It's weird. Anyway, Shrek is up taking game one. Pretty solid performance from them. It took about 25 minutes, I think, was the final game time, something like that. Not bad at all. Solid lineup, and I think they eventually just outplayed their opponents, though, because they didn't really outdraft. So, not a huge surprise there either. I would imagine that in the majority of these games, if they played each other 100 times, I would imagine Ogre would probably win 70 to 75%, something like that. Solaire Club is a solid team, but they're a gold team, I think, and Ogre is much more on the fence between Diamond and Gold. They have shown that several times throughout the season. They've been in Diamond, they've been in Gold, they've been back in Diamond, they've been back in Gold, they've been back in Diamond, they've been back in Gold. They keep going back and forth. So one of those teams where if the division was a little bit larger, then you'd see them in Gold every single cycle.
Kraken. Monarch. Tempest.
He plays a good CD. I don't know. I think I've seen Kendor play CD. Either way, so that sort of thing lends you to think that Cluck and Crew are probably the favorites in most of these games, but it does mean it's close enough that Solaire Club definitely still in it and could pull out some surprising stuff, especially because this is a scrim. And, you know, people trying out some weird new stuff, and sometimes those strategies work, and sometimes they don't, which means that you could either be on the receiving end of a team trying a strategy that doesn't work, or on the end of, it's cool, we just experimented something and it worked great. So either way, Solaire Club definitely should be putting up a strong fight in Game 2. And first couple of bans for the Legion side were Corrupted Disciple and Dr. Repulsor. Switchblade and Cthulhuphant being taken out by Jisman. So it doesn't seem like so far the Swift and Cthulhu nerfs have really affected their position in the scene right now. As apparently Jisman at least doesn't feel like it's worth trying to deal with those heroes. He got Switchblade last game and was unable to win with it. It wasn't really Kandor's fault, but it's true that Switchblade did not emerge victorious in the game. And apparently maybe thinking still a powerful hero, and that was just because, well, Ogre's a better team. Either way, first three picks for Legion team are Kraken, Tempest, and Bubble, so Army of Mums unable to play Kraken in this game. Hellborn going to start out with Monarch, Prisoner, and Pharaoh, so first pick Monarch is pretty interesting. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, unless you run a specific strategy in which Monarch is fantastic, that being a probably short lane, very hard carry type hero, Dark Lady, Moon Queen, Soul Stealer, Flint type thing, Clanks maybe even, where you really want to protect that hero. Oh, Tarot. I think Tarot's in tournament rules now. Let's ask. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to ask because I don't know if that's going to make a difference to the draft of either of these teams. So, let's Maybe I'll ask once the game starts or something like that, if there's a pause and people have a second to answer my stupid questions. But likely going to see Pharaoh, I think, in the suicide role in Army of Mum's hands, and I've seen Army of Mums play Pharaoh before, and he did fantastically, so that'll be good. Should be definitely better than the Kraken last game, which is his signature hero, and not in a great way. But that's not something that we have to keep talking about. Anyway, second stage bans is finished here. Parasite, Ophelia, and Silhouette are going to be their bans for the Legion side, as they want to remove the hard carry option for Kennedorf. Kennedorf, a very, very good Silhouette player, so definitely going to hurt him a fair bit. Noob, I don't know how much Ophelia he plays, and I don't think he's hugely great on the hero. I think I might have seen it once or twice and not been particularly impressed. Very good Tempest player, very good Jungle Doctor player. Doctor's already been banned, of course. And solid Parasite, I believe, but I don't know about the Ophelia. Parasite also being taken out of course, which means that, yet and again, they're trying to remove the jungle options. They do still have a couple left, Keeper of the Forest being the most notable, but you have the unlikely junglers, Solstice, Legionnaire, and then some crazy off-the-wall picks like Balfagor or Blood Hunter or Gladiator or Lord Selforus. But it's going to be the Soul Stealer pick, so that's going to go combo very, very well with Monarch. By the way, Hellborn bans were Puppet Master Gemini and Rhapsody, so realizing the Legion side have no real short lane option and no support. Let's take out one strong support in Rap, although I don't think he banned Rhapsody over Empath, Glacius, and Engineer, personally. I guess Engineer actually not that strong in this lineup because Bubbles and Kraken both solo laners, so you don't really need the Engie combo, and Engie's not a great babysitter, but still, Empath feels like it's a better band than Rhapsody, Glacius feels like it's a better band than Rhapsody, so would have preferred to see that over the Rhapsody, and also going to remove some Nox heroes in the PM and the Gemini, and that's probably what they're looking for here with this last pick. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a Dark Lady or a Clanks. Those are my two go-tos in this type of situation, I think. TDL actually combo very, very nicely with the Celestial Legion side. A lot of AoE lockdown. And it's going to be the Malakin, so that's solid as well. Actually, the Possession splash damage will be very helpful on top of the Kraken ult, the Tempest ult, and the Kelp field. But skipped over the Voodoo Jester. Hype on his viewers, Mighty Marcus, yeah. Oh, that's my stream, I guess. Look at that. Look at that. What a cheater. Mighty Marcus getting called out. Probably shouldn't be viewing my stream right now. Just saying. Just saying. Yep, he's still on there. Yeah, maybe he should do that. I don't know. No. Well, if he's got it unmuted, it's not that big a deal as long as he's not watching.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I trust these guys in general. Mighty Marcus is a good dude. I've casted him a couple of times, and I don't think he's really trying to cheat. And again, it's the whole point of scrims don't do anything if you're ghosting. Like, the whole point of this is to get better, to try new strategies. It's not necessarily to win. Winning is nice, but that's not really the objective of scrims, so hopefully teams are like, that's a little bit less important than improving our skill for games in which we cannot ghost, and therefore not having to rely on that as a crutch. But other thing, Voodoo Jester. Cluck Muck me playing Voodoo Jester here. I love it. I really like Voodoo Jester. I've liked Voodoo Jester before he got improved. He actually does damage now with his cast, which is fantastic because it's really something that should happen. By the way, I don't... Okay, so that's what this... That's going to be here now. So it's different before, I swear. Yeah, bounces up to his 50 damage each unit hit, blah, blah, blah. Keeps it 10% 5 seconds and takes 75 extra advantage damage. So, good stuff. And Jester, I think, is a solid hero. I think he's got some pretty serious viability. In Dota 2, Witch Doctor, the equivalent hero, is seen a lot and does a ton of work. He's got... I think he's similar to Glacius in several ways. He's a better team fighter than Glacius, and just a better damage dealer than Glacius. They both have the channeled ultimate. Obviously, Voodoo Jester physical, Glacius magical, so depending on how you look at it, one might be better. When Shrunken Heads start coming out, Glacius does nothing. When Shrunken Heads start coming out, Voodoo Jester still does some stuff, but obviously much heavier counter, much more easily countered by armor, so it's not exactly an advantage for the Jester. But I feel like he's an underrated hero right now, and with this slight buff that he's gotten, hopefully he'll get picked up more often. Definitely a viable support in the scene right now, I would say, and in certain lineups does a ton of things. And right now I'm going to start to harass out this Pharaoh already, so I know he provides Army of Bums playing that Pharaoh. Again, it's the dual lane of Jester and Malakin, and I would be surprised if Pharaoh got too much in this lane, as, yeah, already going to be harassed out pretty significantly. Cast didn't bounce at all, but Army of Mums will be taking a tree. He's got 5 more along with a health potion, so he's going to kind of sit around here, try to drag the creep wave back towards him. And this is eventually going to push the lane out into the tower, which is both good and bad. Obviously, it's going to make it harder for Malakin to CS, but that will lose him some lane control. Well, maybe not. Maybe he'll go and pay a favor. He's got a double archer wave here, actually. And yeah, good Malakin dying that archer, very important. And Jester continuing to try to keep him off of this wave, but Army of Mums not having too much difficulty staying in experience range. Middle lane is Bubbles versus Prisoner, and Bubbles should absolutely destroy this matchup. There's no circumstance under which he should get hooked by Prisoner, and Shackle doesn't affect his shell serve port, so there's really no way he should die to this Prisoner. He also has the range advantage, of course, for harassing and last hitting. So, in all facets of the game, Mighty Marcus should be able to do very, very well in this lane, and in fact, if Prisoner continues to get low like this, then we'll definitely see a kill going in Bubbles' favor. And we'll be forced to take a tree there. Has 5 left, so no health bots. His regen's going to be much slower, and that's going to allow Bubbles a little bit more time on the lane to CS. Top lane's going to be the Suicide Kraken up against the Soul Stealer and Monarch lane, and I much prefer this iteration of Monarch when she's going to be in that babysit hard support role, as opposed to the more roaming, aggressive role. It definitely worked for Cluck and Crew last game, but I think this is probably where she's going to shine a little bit more. And we'll see if Misera on the Kraken can have a better time than Army of Mums did last game. They're going to grab the Crippling Falling out on top of him already. And actually, it's like Stanmar's taking a fair bit of damage right there. But he's just fine. And then we have the jungle situation. We actually have Noob playing Solstice, which is not a hero I don't think I've ever seen him play before. Currently 270 gold per minute, and that's not the greatest. He's gone for the Hatchet shield build as opposed to the double shield build. I think this is a little bit more efficient than the double shield, and that tends to be the preferred option for jungle Solstice players, I believe. Obviously allows you to cut down these trees and farm the easy camp a little bit better. It also stacks a little bit easier as well. And he's not going to be able to get the stack off of this medium camp as a result of the Alchemist that are sitting there, so it's going to kind of suck for him, but GPM continuing to increase, 270 now, and he's going to be delivered something. Boots and some pretty significant amounts of regen, which I don't know if he needs actually at this point, to be honest. I really don't think he needs the health pot and the trees. One or the other, sure. Maybe not even both, but not dead, I don't think he needs both. Anyway, middle lane, Monarch is in Viz, and they're going to like to set something up onto this Bubbles. And there's a Crippling falling into the hook, but nope, there's to take cover. And that's exactly why Bubbles is such a good hero against Prisoner. Really no way for Prisoner to do much of anything up against the Bubbles. And let's see an Acid Cocktail go down with the Maledict. Actually, Sword Throw's not going to connect, so Pharaoh will be just fine. Nice sidestep. As if Malakin had come in, that could possibly have been a kill. Probably not. Maledict's still level 1. Really doesn't do all that much damage. And it'd be pretty difficult to actually kill the Pharaoh with a level 1 Maledict from that much health. But Kraken going to find Monarch. He backs off. Meantime, so 4.5 minutes in, not too much happening. We've seen some minor aggression, obviously, in Invis from Monarch being the most significant kill attempt, but in general, not too much. Oh, forgot to talk about Denver Brownie Jungle Tempest, 230 GPM, which is actually kind of bad. So, don't know if he's just had issues with his spawns or what, but definitely hasn't gone all that well for him. And he's going to start to pick up a little bit as he takes out a well-stacked hard camp. So that'll be nice, but still level 5. Not doing too badly on levels at all, but it's the GPM that I think he'd like to be a little bit higher. Actually, the bottom lane looks like Army of Mums could finally be in some trouble, and this is going to be a death. The question is, who's going to get the kill? It's probably going to be Voodoo Jester at this point. Yeah, one more tick, and he's going to fall. There it is.
Queen and country.
So, I assume they got vision and experience for that. I don't know. Either way, Army of Mums in the suicide roll, dying right off the bat, and that's, a big part of the power of Voodoo Jester is if you can do a significant amount of damage early on to that Maledict, it will crush people. And there's nothing that they can do to stop it, so pretty huge kill, as that's going to essentially mean that Army of Mums is going to have a real difficult time in this game overall. He is actually porting back to lane, which is a little bit aggressive, but he's got the lane pushed up in his favor, so he doesn't want to miss this experience and especially the opportunity to get some CS. And generally, look at his skill build. It's quite fine. Level 2 in Hellfire, and level 1 in Mummies, level 1 in Tormented Soul. So trying to see what he can do to snipe with those rockets. But Hellfire Max early on, I think, is the best build. Such a powerful spell. And he should be able to hit level 5, possibly even 6 off of this pretty easily, depending on how close he is to 5 currently. So yeah, based on this, he's probably only going to hit 5. And yeah, not even going to hit 5, so he must have just been 4, barely. And he should be close to 5 at this point, but once he hits level 6, he's going to have a much easier time ganking, and wouldn't mind at all seeing him rotate to another lane, or perhaps seeing somebody come down to this bottom lane. It's going to be difficult to kill Malakin because of the sword throw, but it's also going to be difficult to kill Bubbles in the mid. And I believe Kraken can charge out of mummy walls. So, in general, all 3 lanes, heroes that are not going to care too much about the Kraken walls. Oh, going to be dodged by Bubbles. Here's the Maledict, as Prisoner all of a sudden going to take a crap ton of damage. And I don't know if this is going to be a kill. I think it won't. He's got 2 more ticks, I believe. 1 more tick. It's not going to be enough. Yeah, so he's going to survive with 82 health. Nice gank there from Voodoo Jester. Kelpfield also used, but I think the illusion is really what saved his life, as they couldn't figure out which one was real for a little bit of time. And in that situation, actually, with the early damage from Maledict, a couple more auto attacks would have killed him, because he was only at 82 health, and currently Bubbles hitting for 63, 68, so probably 2 more auto attacks and he was dead. Maybe even 1, if he hit it early enough before a sufficient amount of ticks had gone through. So obviously that damage compounds upon itself, as Maledict goes. Still just the 1 kill, but it looks like the bottom lane Prisoner has rotated, trying to get a kill onto this Malakin. They do have Shackle for his sword throw, and that'll make it difficult for him to get out in the attempt that he tries to get away. Or in the event that he tries to get away, excuse me. Anyway, there's the Acid Cocktail, only going to bounce once, and the Maledict is there as well, but I think they saw the Prisoner. Yeah, word of sight here, definitely spotted Prisoner out. We're seeing their TP coming in from Solstice. They're well aware of what's going on here, and it looks like Voodoo Jester is going to pay for this. And Solstice charging up the ultimate, only going to hit the Voodoo Jester, so really nothing else needed. Bubbles is here, no Kelp Field for about 25 seconds though, so he really can't do too much. Going to try to stop this Pharaoh, and that, no, will not be a kill. He just barely gets the TP out. And Bubbles having level 1 silence, really not doing all that much damage, so Pharaoh barely able to survive. And ends up being a 1-for-0 kill, as Solaire Club return that Bloodlust onto Voodoo Jester. Noob McNoob currently at 285 GPM. So his farm not bad, not the greatest, but not bad. When you look at Denver Pro and the Tempest, still struggling a little bit at 250 GPM. Should definitely be higher by this point. Should easily be 280 plus, I think, if you're looking at the overall breadth of Tempest performances. Usually by this point you want to be at that level. And he is level 7 too, so I would like to see him push this bottom lane. It looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. And I don't know if he doesn't have his Ring of Sorcery or what, but he's definitely sitting, I mean that 250 GPM is why, but he's definitely not sitting on enough items at this point. Because he really should have his ring by now. It's becoming a bit of a problem for his mana use. The fact that he does not have Ring of Sorcery, and the Courier consistently in use for Clockmuck, or for Ogre. Tempest Elemental is pushing the tower. And could be a tower kill, potentially, depending on how quickly they can clean up this creep wave. Looks like Sword Throw will go through. Rocket going to slow it down a little bit, but I think this is still a tower kill. Looks like there's not enough defense being put up on Hellborn's side. SolC's coming in with an Invis rune. Let's see if he actually looks to set something up and can get anything. He has an ultimate available, trying to work his way into the trees so that he's not seen. And he's actually going to jump right on top of Tempest. That was not a great plan. I'm going to turn this pretty easily on with a Maledict and Cocktail Stun. Come auto attacks. That'll be able to finish off Solstice, no question. Maledict actually getting the kill. Cannondorf, in the meantime, dying in the top lane as Mighty Marcus gets the kill. They're also going to try to chase down this Monarch, and that's a pretty easy dash for him as Sarah picked a double tap. So things going quite well for Solaire Club, not Solaire Club, for Ogre. And Tower actually got killed as well, didn't even deny it. So some miscommunication maybe, some misplays in general. Solstice for some reason starting nice bounce with the Acid Cocktail, and he didn't port to the sword, so figuring that's not really worth it. Couldn't lock him down for long enough to get a kill. And interesting tactic there from Cluck. He's like, I can't get close enough to actually cast this on you. Maybe the bounces will be there and the RNG factor will be in my favor. And it was, but not enough. So 41 hero goal advantage here for Shrek is Love and Co. Top lane, Cannondorf only at 350 GPM, and it's a bit of an issue. So the Soul Stealer obviously not having access to too many jungle stacks thanks to the fact that Solstice was in the woods. And we'll be seeing some stacking going on here, so that'll be very helpful for him and his demon hands. That camp didn't stack for some reason. I guess he couldn't pull it far enough. Either way, that'll allow him to boost his GPM pretty significantly. I suppose the issue is he's so low right now that it's going to take him a while to recover, and in the meantime he's going to have to go up against the Malakin, up against the Kraken, Bubbles, Tempest, all of whom have strong gank potential. And you can see that right now. Kraken's just like, yeah, come at me, bro. He's got to release the Kraken available. Doesn't really want to drop it until Soul Stealer tries to channel his ult up because he doesn't want to get Soul Bursted in the face. Monarch is going to be able to skirt on by as the teleport is coming in, but they're going to be able to see that pretty easily as there's a ward sight spotting this out. I think that Monarch saw the TP anyway. So Tempest's going to try to hide in the woods, but creeps say hello, we can see you. Yeah, archers there. Anyway, meanwhile Solstice is charging his ultimate up in the background, does hit Denver Pro. I wasn't even sure where he was off the side in the observatory. And Tempest's going to get destroyed. Burst damage way too good. Kraken gets slowed down a little bit here. He will charge away, and we're going to need to see a pretty impressive hook from Prisoner. Teleport gets canceled as well, so nice engagement from Solaire Club. Good setup onto that Tempest, and that stops their counter push in the top lane. Means that this tower should be going down. But Legion doing exactly the right thing, saying, look, we can't save that tower, we'll just counter push. And they take them in tier 1 as well. Or maybe we can save this tower, as we're bringing a teleport, and it's going to be Bubbles. He'll port forward with the Shell Surf. No. Kelpfield just goes onto 2, release Kraken onto a couple as well. Monarch can be in a lot of trouble. Maledict goes through onto Solstice, but no follow-up damage. And it looks like they won't be able to get any kills out of it. They do get the deny. So it cost them a couple of pretty significant ultimates, but eventually they do remove the tower from the game. And it is not killed by the Hellborn side, which of course is very, very helpful. It's the first tower kill in favor of Hellborn this game. Legion have already taken 2. And Ogre generally looking in a better spot than they were after the laning phase in Game 1. And considering how Game 1 turned out, you'd have to imagine that heavily favors them. Now, the late game here may in fact go in favor of the Hellborn team. Kraken loves going up against a Pharaoh, but we have a Solstice and a Soul Stealer on the Hellborn team going up against a Malakin, who's a very, very hard carry, but I think it's going to depend primarily on who gets the initiation and how many people the Legion team can catch in their ultimates. If they get a big spread on the Hellborn side and they can't, do too much in terms of, keeping people in place and allowing Malakin to just beat on them with a possession, then it's not going to be great. But if they get all grouped up on the Hellborn team, they have a lot of AoE ultimates that can keep people locked down for a while, and then Malakin's just going to right-click his way to victory. So it's going to depend pretty heavily, I think, on who gets the strong jump and who is able to hit more of their spells on more heroes. Sounds like a pretty obvious thing to say, and it totally is, but that's what a lot of these games do come down to, especially by relatively evenly matched teams. It's important to have that initiation potential and to use it effectively. Hook not going to connect on the Kraken. Failed Rot being used as well by the Bubbles. Not particularly effective here because he didn't actually skip past in wars. And he will go through trying to get to the Soul Stealer. Shell Surf did connect, but doesn't want to port to it. Has the Kelp Field available, but realizing pretty quickly that Kraken not quite in range to do anything to follow up on top of it. Sorry, Tool song. It's a great song. It's my favorite Tool song. Faith has ascended. It's time now, my time now. Give me my wings. Yeah, nobody really wants to hear me sing, so sorry about that. Noxious Nightcrawler Ward in a good position. Approved. Stand March. Well done. Both sides pretty much just farming out. Figuring I don't really want to take an engagement right now. Tempest Illusion being killed by the Ancients as he's trying to block the stack, does so successfully. Poor Pharaoh. Hanging out there forever, waiting to stack them Ancients for his buddy Soul Stealer, and Denver Pro on that Tempest is just like, I'm so rude. But you know what? Army of Mums is going to stack those Ancients anyway. Or maybe it's Stand March that's going to stack those Ancients anyway. Stack those Ancients. Stack them anyway. God, this terrible song. This is the time why I have nothing to talk about, so let me just start spouting random bullshit. And making funny noises. Some more ancient stacking going here from Voodoo Jester. Cluck Muck. Solstice. Trying to see if anybody's doing them. They are not. Oh, it's Solstice Portal Key, and this is something we saw from somebody. Was it Zlapped? I want to say it was Lapped. It wasn't Zlapped. Somebody got Solstice Portal Key in a diamond match recently. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Zlapped. No, it couldn't have been, because he didn't play. He played second support in Game 1 of the Grand Finals, and he played Parasite in Game 2. Maybe it was winner bracket finals. I don't know. Anyway, top lane. There's gonna be some action. Soul Burst destroys Nox. Boy, he died fast. I'm gonna turn that into a top tier 2 tower kill potentially, as Clock is trying to back them off a little bit with that acid cocktail. But may or may not curb their appetite for destruction. Looks like Canador still wants some of this. Canador, by the way, has Portal Key and Nullstone, so not too much in terms of the outright damage potential, but solid amount of defense and initiation combo. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for Shrunken Head next, although probably not. I don't actually like it all that much. Middle lane looks like they are initiating, and they will get Jisman killed with the Kelp Field. Solstice trying to turn something onto this Tempest, and I don't know if he's actually enough damage, though. Kraken coming back in with the charge onto the trees, and I think Noob's dead. Yep, there he goes. Looks like they will get a cast onto Monarch as well. That's 2 falling on the Hellborn side. And Malikan popping his ultimate. Not all that necessary, but he gets double tapped, so I guess he's probably not complaining too much. Failed Rot coming through from Misera on that Kraken. Trying to find Soul Stealer. Will find Soul Stealer. Boom, there he is. But Soul Stealer ports away with his PK. Nice counter from Ogre. They're up 7-3 now in hero kills. And perhaps looking to take tier 2 in middle. Definitely looking to take tier 2 in middle. The question is, do they feel confident enough? And no, they do not. So Nox farming very, very well at 515 GPM. And nobody else on the Legion side doing all of that well. Bubble's at 330, so he's having a solid game, but that farm disparity is even more true on the Hellborn team. You have Candor 470, and nobody else substantially above 250 GPM, with Prisoner just barely above that mark. 260 now for him, Noob at 240, 175 from Army of Mums, and 79 from Stan March. And let's see, they're going to try to blow up Nox once again, it looks like, as they're bringing 3 heroes down here. They do have, obviously, the Wrath of the Pharaoh, as well as this Soul Burst Portal Key combo. And it's just going to be like, let's hide in the woods, Demon Hands go through, get the creep kills. And SolC's just looking for an opening here, potentially counter initiation if the Legion side try to bring people over and kill that Soul Stealer. But at this point, they're feeling like there's really no reason for them to get particularly aggressive, and that's probably true. I don't know, things look like they're more or less fine right now. Interesting. Is this like a different thing because of the different Monarch skin? Probably. It's like a disco ball. Interesting. Oh shit. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Kelfield gonna catch Solstice out. Wouldn't be surprised if he falls initially. Possession going through from Malikan. There he is. He's also gonna shrunken head up. Maledict and Ultimate from Voodoo Jester doing a lot of damage to Army Mums on the Solstice. They also managed to take off Justman, so double tap from Clockmuck. And Soul Burst not gonna do enough damage. Nice take up from Bubble. Release Kraken on top of Kenandar's head, and he's very dead. So attempt to kill this bot tier 1 tower. They really don't even get very much damage on top of it. And some well-placed ultimates ends up getting good kills. So that's going to turn into a bot tier 2 tower push. Cluck getting pushed forward by Tempest, I assume. Trying to be a little bit BM. It's the only push look that's available on their sides. Screwing with him a little bit, I guess. Turn, help off. Cluck. Red dot that bastard.
The Legion have overrun a Hellborn
Tier 2
FOB.
tower down. They still really have Tier 1 tower up in the top lane, but it looks like middle, Monarch getting chased a little bit by this Kraken. They're going to draw a port from Prisoner and Kraken. Trying to back off, but he gets hit by the hook. We'll see if he can actually find his shackle. Yeah, he can. Grappling Pollen comes through, but Kraken a little bit too tanky to actually do too much to him. And he'll be just fine. So 11-3 advantage here from Shrek is low side. They're about 12k gold and 12.5k gold, 13k, 12.5k experience up. That's only going to continue as Malikan takes these triple stacked ancients with his ultimates. Clockmuck getting one of them because he's a greedy support. Clockmuck, how greedy. Taking them kills away from your carry. It's not what you're supposed to do. You get no money. 610 gold per minute on Nox. And he is currently past the win games threshold GPM. You need literally never... Oh look, Noob's dead in the bottom lane. Missed that, because I'd rather watch Justman farm on middle. Anyway, you don't lose games past 600 GPM. I think in the last 6 months, ever since the start of CIC, there have been 2 games past 600 GPM that were losses. One of them was a 601 GPM game. I believe the other one was a 601 GPM game. So if you're barely over that mark, I mean, even if you're just barely over that mark, you still have just like a 98% win rate or something like that. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Anyway, and actually that 600 GPM, this is one of the games, there were 2 600 GPM heroes, so somebody had to die. Or somebody had to lose. Try to find Malikan up there, obviously could not do so. And Veldrop being used here by Denver Pro on the Tempest, as he's looking for an initiation. And over the side, Kraken will get hooked back in as he releases Kraken onto a creep camp, so that's not very effective. Misera going to die. Wrath of Pharaoh does miss, though. Possession gets popped by Malikan Nope, it didn't. That was Tempest SolC's ultimate. What am I even talking about? And oh crap, Mighty Marcus actually does manage to finish off Army of Mums in the background. Monarch is like, I seem to be in a bad position. Stand March? I think you're dead. He's dead.
Double tap.
Sorry, Cat has decided this is a good time for a lap. She's like shoving her butt in my face, which is a little bit weird. Not really, but the butt is very prominent. So, top tier 1 tower going to be taken out here by the guys on Ogre, and it's been a long time. They actually really haven't pressured the tower too much, and they really want to keep that thing alive. Possession can be activated. Oh, the Tempest Hall! That was really bad! That was really bad.
Overrun a Hellborn FOB. Kinetic.
I had to. Oh boy, that was a pretty serious misplay. You can't port on top of everybody like that, and then they all didn't cancel their ports. They saw it, they were like, yep, that's pretty much me. Like when they realized Tempest and Malakin weren't going back, they probably should have canceled a couple of those teleports, at least. Because it was pretty clear what was going to happen.
The Legion have overrun a Hellborn FOB.
Oh boy, that was really bad. That was fun too. That's Scrimcast, man. You can't have a little fun when you're doing something wrong. Anyway, middle lane, SolC's going to use the portal key and the initiation on top of Bubbles. Obviously, the pushbook doesn't do too much for him, but apparently Solstice not wanting to continue the initiation in the background. They will actually get the kelp build on Solstice, but Prisoner going to be in some trouble as well. He's getting knocked down and killed. Bubbles going to be able to shell surf away from the aggression that was coming his way. And Solstice could be in some trouble here. Sword throw from Malkin not going to hit, and it looks like they're just going to be cleaning up the last tier 2 tower. There's the initiation from Pharaoh. Tempest ultimate obviously down. Solstice not really going to hit anybody. He does get Voodoo Jester in the background, and Jester going to put the Maledict down before he dies. They do kill Stand March and the Monarch very easily. Keg still bouncing around, and that'll be the end of that. Not Keg, Cask. So, two heroes die on the Hellborn side, and it's 20-5. There's the game. No huge surprise, really. A pretty substantial lead for...
Too easy. Piece of cake. Champion of
Pretty substantial lead there for Cluckmuck and his guys, and looks like failed to retrieve match information. That's good. So, ow. Yeah, loud cat sounds, and she's gonna get all mad at me if I probably should do this. So, either way, oh crap! I never switched to the in-game image. God damn it. That game wasn't that long, so not that big a deal. Ultimately, Ogre, better team. I think they maybe had a better draft that game. Not really, though. Once again, I think it's just a matter of execution. Solaire Club, maybe a couple of areas in which they need to tighten their game up, and Ogre took advantage of those things. They didn't shut down Nox on the Malakim. They let him get too far ahead. Masera in that suicide lane probably got too much as well. And Cannondorf on the Solstice just really never took off, so... when it came to actually fighting, that meant that the Hellborn essentially had no damage and a bunch of low health heroes. You're gonna get all nippy again, aren't you? Yes, she likes to get bitey when... Yeah, and now you're going to go down because you're gonna get all nippy. Anyway... So, I'd really like to retrieve match information, but apparently I can't. That's going to be 2-0 so far for the guys on Shrek is Love, and well played to them, at least so far. I don't know if the Scrim series is going to continue, but at the very least, I'll kick it to a short break here as I determine what exactly is going to happen next, and if there aren't going to be any more Scrims in this series, then I'm going to go ahead and call it, as I've got to go out and get some food, and... If there are, then I will cast game 3, so it should be good, and we'll be back in just a couple of seconds.